Hello and welcome to this Affinity Studio tutorial where I'm helping a beginner called John, who posted this question in the Facebook group Affinity Users. So he says, I'm trying to apply a background color to a blank document. I go up to the window and then the general color swatches. Okay, so far. Then I see a bunch of color swatches off to the right. I pick one and drag my cursor over the blank document. A light blue, and I did not pick the light blue color, follows my cursor to the bottom of the document. But when I unclick my mouse, the light blue color disappears. What am I doing wrong? So this is where I want to try and help John. And I've opened a blank document in the Pixel Studio with a transparent background, and I've also opened a blank document in the Vector Studio with a white background. Now, as you can see over here in the Layers panel in both the Vector and Pixel Studios, there is nothing in the Layers Studio. This area that you can see here is just a visual representation for you to know where the document is. So there is technically really nothing there whatsoever. It's just a visual aid. So you need to put a layer on there before you can actually do anything. So what John was doing, he selected swatches, he selected a color, let's say this green for example, and then he was clicking the mouse and dragging out and getting this blue square. Now this is just a selection tool, so if there was something on that a layer there, that would select whatever that was. I mean, you can do this anywhere, it doesn't really matter. It's just a selection tool when you have the move tool selected. So that is not where he's going wrong. So let me go back to color for a moment, and we'll come to the layers panel. So what we need to do is add a blank layer. I know that sort of sounds counterintuitive because we already have what looks like a blank layer there. Now you can do this a couple of ways. You can come up to layer and pixel, new layer, and then you can do it that way, or you can do Control Shift and N. But I personally prefer to come over to the layers panel, and down the bottom here you've got 4 icons on the right, and the one before the dustbin is pixel layer. So if I click on that, as you can see, there is now a layer there in the layers panel. Visually, nothing has changed. I've put a blank layer on top of a blank area. I can do the same in the Vector Studio. See, again over here you've got pixel layer icon, and I don't think, no, you can't do a vector layer, but so again, if I just click on this layer here, we now have a layer in the layers panel, and I can add things to this. Now if you wanted to change the color, so let me come back to the pixel one. If you wanted to change the color and make this a solid color, for example, whatever, you can do this a couple of ways. You can use the gradient or fill tool, which is this icon here. Click on that, and you can see the cursor changes to sort of an arrow with a little gradient thing on it. And up here in the context bar you have fill or stroke, and what we are going for here is fill. At the moment it's set to none, so we're going to go for solid, and then the color thing has changed to white, so I'm going to change that to green. So that would make that solid, what was a blank layer, now a solid green. So let me delete that. Just right click and delete. I will add another blank layer. Now another new way to do that same thing is if you've got the fill tool and you come to swatches, you can select a swatch. So that is how you can do that. So let me go back to here, delete that again. Another way, not using the fill tool, is to use a shape tool, or rectangle tool in this case. Click on that. Again, you can select a color before you do it, or you can change the color afterwards. So we'll make this one red, and then just draw out a rectangle. It can be bigger than the page, it doesn't matter, because it's only going to be visible in the area that you've made the document. So that is quickly how you can do that in the Pixel Studio, and it will be the same in the Vector Studio, and really in the Layout Studio as well. But we have the same gradient tool or fill tool. I keep calling it gradient tool. It used to be the old name for it, I think, and then we've got the fill tool. So again, set the fill, set it to solid, change the color, and it will change that way. You can even still come to the swatches and change the color just by clicking around the swatches. And if I get rid of that and the rectangle shape, and we will go for, let's go for another red color, and then just draw out, or pink I should say. And that is basically, I think, what John was trying to do. There's sort of more than one way to do it, and you can do it in the Pixel Vector, and you should be able to do it in the Layout as well. You should have the gradient tool down here, fill tool, I must call it the fill tool, then the fill tool. So that is it basically. So hopefully this helps, John. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.